Hello and welcome back to my channel. We reached a little bit of a milestone, which is over 200 subscribers. So as promised, I'd like to do a little bit of a giveaway. And like I mentioned before, I'm a potter, and so I have three things to choose from for whoever wins. I have this rice bowl here, which has a picture of a cat on it, and a moth, and some moons. I have a mortar pestle here for making spells and potions. The end has a bat on it, and the outside has the phases of the moon. And then I also have a set of rune stones. So some people read rune stones kind of like tarot, and so each stone has a rune on it, and then there's a texture on the back. And they're pretty satisfying to run your hands through. So all of these items are porcelain high fire, and so you can put them in the dishwasher and everything, and they're food safe. And I'm going to put my email in the description below, and so just email me and make the subject giveaway, and then let me know which piece that you would like if you did win. And then we'll cut off on Saturday, which I think is November 30th, 2019. And then I'll select somebody, I'll email them back, and then I'll just get your info from you and I'll mail you the item. So we'll do it like that. I don't know, I've never done a giveaway before, but that seems pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's talk about twin flames. Disclaimer, I am an atheist and I don't believe in anything supernatural. My witchcraft could be described as the open label placebo effect. If you're wondering about how the placebo effect can work, even though I know what I'm doing is a placebo, you're gonna wanna go to a video that is called Can You Be an Atheist Witch? And I apologize about that video because it was pretty early on and I was pretty bad at making YouTube videos. Are you just gonna sit here and bite me through the whole video? Thanks. Okay, so I don't believe in a soul. And you might be wondering, if you don't believe in a soul, then what does the thinking? Well, the meat does the thinking. I don't believe that a soul can exist outside the body, which means I don't believe in an afterlife, which also means I don't believe in past lives. I do think it's interesting that anybody who seems to know about their past lives was always some sort of Egyptian queen. Like, how many Egyptian queens were there? Isn't it more likely that your past self just died a bunch of times before you were age 3 of like tuberculosis or something? I do totally understand that we all have a desire to be something more than this life, because this life is really cruelly short. And it's really scary to think that, not very long after we're dead, everyone's going to forget that we ever existed. So I understand why people identify with these grandiose beliefs. If you already know what a twin flame is, then you may know this person, or you might be this person. So rather than me sitting here and explaining to you what a twin flame is, let's do a little skit. Action. So I heard you and Brad are really hitting it off. Are you guys moving in together? We're twin flames. What's a twin flame? Oh, you see, when my soul was being formed, when it was time to live my first life, the one where I was an Egyptian princess, the soul split in half, and so there was two bodies that had the same soul in them. And so I've been searching through the centuries to find the other half of my soul. Oh yeah, okay, the same as soulmates, right? No, not a soulmate. A soulmate's like a perfect match where your souls are vibrating in the exact same way. You can have several different soulmates, but you can only have one twin flame. And not very many people have twin flames. It's extremely rare. And honestly, even if you do have a twin flame, you'll probably go your whole life without ever bumping into it. Before that, the souls will pursue each other. One will be the runner, one will be the chaser. They'll be like dodging each other through centuries. Finally, after a lot of back and forth, once both souls have reached perfect enlightenment, they merge together to form the most perfect relationship. Yeah, and that's Brad and me, so I guess we're moving in together. Oh, okay. Now, of course, there are as many versions of the twin flame belief as there are believers, because like any belief, it becomes very customized. That means that example might be a little differently than what you've seen, or if you are a believer, it might be very different from what you believe. It can be even more complicated than that, because there's also the idea of a shadow twin, which is a soul that can mimic the vibrations of your twin soul so that you mistake them for your twin and you build a relationship around this person and that person just drains you and runs you around and wastes your time. It's a lot to digest, and after a lot of reading and some reflection, I've kind of decided that it just sucks. At best, it's a way for someone to make their very average relationship feel very urgent and important. And at worst, it can make people stay in a toxic relationship. I get it. Love is very intoxicating. Nobody that has been in love has thought, oh yeah, this is completely average and normal and everybody feels like this. Like, no. You look at everybody you pass by on the street and you're like, oh, that poor sucker is never going to experience love as wholly and deeply as I am experiencing love. It's the same way that people feel on fire with the Holy Spirit. It's norepinephrine and dopamine, and it is a trip. The truth is that thinking that God or a divinity or the universe or some divine plan put you with this other person is just too much pressure on a relationship. Relationships aren't between these divine powers that have been searching for each other through the ages. They're between regular people who make mistakes, who were not perfectly designed for you, and who will change. As with most supernatural beliefs, if for some reason it doesn't work out, it's completely your fault. You didn't vibrate hard enough, you weren't enlightened enough, you weren't holy enough. It couldn't possibly just be because you weren't compatible with this other person, or because you decided you wanted different things in your lives. You might find yourself bound to an unhealthy relationship because you believe that this is the only person in the world for you. Like, this is not your other half. You are not a half of a person. You are a whole person. And honestly, I think the idea that there's people walking around out there with half of their souls missing is just toxic. So I would like to humbly offer an alternative to the twin flame love. And that is the mediocre love. A twin flame is the other half of your soul, and it's been searching for you through ages, through past lives, for centuries, and now it's actually finally found you. And this is a love that's been building through time. A mediocre love was friends with someone's roommate, and they happened to show up for pub quiz, and you two were like on fire and knew all the answers, and so you decided to get pancakes afterwards to celebrate, and then you exchanged phone numbers. The connection of a twin flame is so powerful that it'll cause family and friends to become jealous. It'll create a growing wedge until you're forced to choose between your twin flame and your other loved ones. A mediocre love at first causes your family and friends to be really skeptical. They don't know what you see in this person. But eventually, they realize that they're not going anywhere, and so they're forced to get to know this person, and eventually they realize that they are kind and loyal, and they really see what you're in love with, and so they become part of the family and friends situation. A twin flame forces you to grow and change in a really turbulent way. A mediocre love encourages you to sign up for that class because they know you can do it because you're so smart. And then later they'll go out and buy soft tissues and chocolate when you're crying over your homework. A twin flame is an unbreakable bond where they're constantly going to be coming in and out of your life. Mediocre love will stick through normal challenges, but if you both change in fundamental, irreconcilable ways, then you are free to untangle your lives and to go your separate ways. Are relationships easy? No. But they shouldn't be hard either. The purpose of a partner is not to fill a hole in your own life. You are a whole person already. The purpose of a partner is to make your life better. Relationships are work, but they shouldn't take hard work every day. Okay, so in closing, if you find yourself in a toxic relationship and you've decided that this is like your twin flame, girl, dump him. There are so many people out there in the world that there's no reason to label somebody as permanent and then put up with their baloney. I hope that you enjoyed this discussion. I mean no offense if you are really into the idea of twin flames, past lives, soulmates, and things like that. I mean no disrespect. I just want you to be open about it. I want you to think critically about it, and don't use it as an excuse to excuse toxic relationships. we're on the planet for a very short time, so please do not waste it with somebody who's treating you poorly. Okay, well, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye!